Well, hey, how's it, everybody? It is 5 p.m. West Coast time, 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter, and this is Chatter with Statter here on our Sunday afternoon stream. It looks like we've got the gear today. Shock is letting us know, but not only do we have the gear, I decided, I don't know if I decided last night after the movie or if I think actually, yeah, it was last night after the StatterBox at the cinema. I upped the quality of the source, so we're actually at 1080, which means things might be the wicket might be stickier for some folks, but we do have that gear that you are able to use to turn it down. So we have snuck in, and because we've snuck in, it is time to get the party started. All right, there we are. Let's get the music happening. And alrighty, there we go. I am surprised to see Poppy Shaney in the house. Poppy Shaney said that he was going to maybe be in the air today during this stream, and I've got a couple pictures to prove that he wasn't lying. And then of course Shock is here to also affirm the story that Poppy Shaney's been throwing around town, which is he was flying to the East Coast to pick up some airplanes. And it's true. He was, and he did. And I've got the photographic proof. We'll look at that later. But right now, we are going to say hey to Gina. Awesome. Good to see you here. And Shock, yeah, exactly. He bought some airplanes from NASA. That's exactly it. They're his personal flights, right? He bought them personally. Okay, maybe not, but we'll get into it. Aha! So you're stuck in El Paso today. Poppy Shaney, the rest of the way home tomorrow. There we go. I don't know why you're so stuck, and I'm sorry that you are stuck, but I hope that you're enjoying your evening in El Paso. I've only been to El Paso once, and I have to say, it was one of the most humid places I've ever been in my life. And I've been to Atlanta, Georgia. But there was something about 2 o'clock in the morning in El Paso where the humidity was so heavy, I wanted to crawl out of my skin. It was like nothing else. And I'm sure it wasn't the worst humidity that the United States has to offer, but at that point in my life, and I feel like maybe since then even, worst humidity I have ever experienced. But I'm assuming Poppy Shaney has access to air conditioning. When I hit El Paso, we were in a 67 Plymouth Fury with no air conditioning, so things were a little bit different than the fellow who's flying into town in his own airplane. Okay, maybe it's not his airplane, maybe it belongs to the state of California, but still, it's much fancier heading into town that way than the way I headed into town. Hey there, eMusic, good to see you here. Yeah, Shock, exactly. I was sure that he would be home by now too, so it's a little bit surprising, but there you have it. And I guess, let's see here, Poppy Shaney, you made it all the way to East Texas on day one. Oh, the weather has kept it from you making the weather. Of course, it's the weather. The weather in Texas is what's causing the problems. Not at all surprised about that. I remember I visited a friend in Houston, flew out of one of the airports, and apparently that week there was a storm that you could the people in town, or the people who worked at the airport, said you could practically set your watch to it. A storm would blow into the airport at the same time every day for like the past 3 days or whatever. So a bunch of flights were getting canceled every single day. And I swear, I sat in the airport watching this storm just approach across the plains, and then it just stopped right on top of the airport. And it was like, oh, I guess I'm not flying out tonight. And so, wasn't flying out tonight. So had to get a hotel room, and it was kind of a bit of a hassle. But it was worth it. I ended up in that hotel room writing a really funny joke that eventually got me booed and heckled off stage. So it was obviously a great joke, because if you're going to get somebody so aggravated that they shout at you, you're going to hell. You know that it's a good joke. At least I thought that was a good joke. And let's see here. Poppy Shaney brought you and your husband flowers. That does not surprise me. He strikes me as someone who is very thoughtful in that way. And, you know, since we're just talking about the man as if he's not here, why don't we talk about the man as if he is here? Because here he is right here on the screen in front of one of the mean machines. He's flying from Virginia to California. I am not sure exactly how the transaction went, but basically, I believe the state of California bought some airplanes from NASA. And these airplanes, they look a little bit like that. That's over West Texas. These airplanes are going to be refurbished and eventually probably unrecognizable from the machines they are now. And I'm going to assume that California is using them for their firefighting or fire spotting squad. And maybe it's not a squad that is referred to as that group, but I'm going to call them a squad. Poppy Shaney can come in with the wonderful point and laugh emotes, the infamous ha-has, because I don't know what his group of pilots is called, so I'm just gonna call him a squad. And so let's see here. Poppy Shaney, NASA gave the airplanes to Cal Fire. Okay, honestly, I thought that you had said that in my email, the email that you sent me with the pictures, but I couldn't remember, so I didn't want to misquote. But as it turns out, the NASA, I guess, had these planes that they needed to get off their books. The depreciation had already happened, so it was no big deal just to get them off their books and give them on over to California. And so as all along the journey, as Poppy was waiting to take off so he could go flying looking like that, he ended up seeing a Raptor landing and managed to catch a quick picture of that plane. Even though the plane looks like it's about ready to take off, in my opinion, it's not. It's actually landing. And the reason why I say it's landing is because Poppy Shaney told me it was, and he was there. And I think he doesn't lie about that kind of thing because he knows about airplanes. So that's a fancy pants airplane that Poppy Shaney got a picture of on his journey across the United States. However, I've saved the most important picture for last. This picture is the best picture that he sent ever, and this is a picture of Peanut. Peanut is a dog in Greenville, I think, Mississippi, and Peanut, he belongs to the lady who runs the fuel concessions there in Mississippi. Now, I think that Peanut should have hopped in the airplane with Poppy Shaney, and Poppy Shaney should have taken off with Peanut, because Peanut looks like a good co-pilot. And as I said to Poppy Shaney, he'd be really good spotting rough weather. Get it? Rough weather. Yeah, so that's my favorite picture of all of the pictures, and I know that some people might like this picture better because it's a fancy plane, and some people might like this picture better because it's a plain plane, but I like this picture the bestest because it's Peanut. He's a big, cute Peanut. And yeah, so that's what Poppy Shaney has been doing this last week, visiting Hamajangas like Shock and her husband Scott, and then meeting the cutest potential Hamajangas named Peanut, and then we got to see the results of that. So there you go. And don't be surprised if I throw up the Peanut. Oh, that didn't sound good. If I post up the Peanut picture randomly because it's Peanut, and how can I not post a picture of Peanut randomly? That's just how it goes. I was trying to get back to my face. Too many buttons. And yes, Peanut looked like a great dog, and I'm so glad that that's your favorite pick. It really is a very, very, very sweet pick. Yeah, so that was one of the things that is happening this week. Another thing that's happening, although actually Poppy Shaney was not supposed to be here today, so he is, which is awesome. Pacola T, however, will not be here this afternoon because she is another Hamajanger who's getting around town and doing things and stuff, and she is on the Big Island today. And she will be meeting with Camuella Man. Well, I think actually, let's see here. No, she's going to be meeting with Camuella Man at 3 p.m. Hawaii time. So she's not meeting with K-Man yet, but she is on the road. And I know that she's on the road because she sent me this little video of her trek across the Big Island. It's not a really long video. It's a very, very tiny little video, but she's rocking down to Electric Avenue.
Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher. Oh, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
All right, so see, got proof. It's like a doctor's note. You're allowed to skip the stream as long as you got video proof you were doing something fun. Actually, that's not true. You're allowed to skip the stream anytime. But if you do have video proof of what you're doing, awesome, 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 and please share it. As you know, and as you can tell, I'm happy to show whatever little videos y'all might send my way. madstatter@gmail.com. Madstatter, all one word, gmail.com. You know how that goes. So yeah, send them on over if you've got something that you want to share with the gang. Because I think we all like to see the little adventures that the StatterBox crew gets up to now and again. And might make us a little bit jealous looking at cute dogs like Peanut or wonderful treks across the Big Island, but still, life goals, people, life goals. One day we can meet Peanut, and one day we can be on the Big Island to meet Camuella Man too. Now, I was hoping that Kenny from the Cove or Rick and Darlene were going to be here today, because I have a topic of conversation that I feel like they would have input on. But I don't really have a lot to talk about today, and this was going to be one of the things. And so I guess I'm going to throw it out here, and maybe we'll revisit it when Kenny from the Cove and Rick are back, or Darlene. But here's the deal, you guys. In my life, I have always heard of, now I've never been, but I've always heard of cow tipping. Are you guys familiar with cow tipping? You know, this kind of thing, only with a real cow. I figured this was just kind of cute, so I figured I'd get the picture of this cow because it was cute. But cow tipping, yeah, that's right. We're talking about some really important stuff today, right? So, cow tipping. All right, so Shock, you have heard of it. And you get shocked with rock salt for cow tipping. But do you? Because here's the deal. All right, now in my life, I have never given much thought to cow tipping. It's just the thing that I always assumed drunken teenagers did that lived in rural areas with nothing better to do. And I never really thought of it as like something people go out to do per se. It is something that like drunk teenagers who have nothing better to do suddenly get the inspiration to do after they've gotten drunk, and then they go cow tipping, right? So, Poppy Shaney. Okay, see, this is a good conversation. I'm glad Poppy Shaney is here then. It is a real thing. You grew up on a hay and cattle ranch. And Gina, you heard of it, but you thought it was a myth. Poppy Shaney saying, I didn't do it either, drunk or sober. Okay, so here's the deal. So it really is a thing because I always just assumed it was and never really gave it much thought. However, on the internet, apparently, it's kind of a hot topic. One of my friends yesterday, this is what inspired me for this little topic here. One of my friends, I was scrolling through Facebook, and one of my friends from Portland, Oregon, got into a huge argument with this dude about whether or not cow tipping was just an urban legend or not. And dude was insisting it's an urban legend, no one does it, it's physically impossible, here's the math and science behind it, blah, blah, blah. And he was then further saying, besides, there's no video proof, blah, blah, blah. Now, my friend had a good point. My friend was just like, in the 70s and 80s and 90s, nobody had cell phones. to be taking videos of cow tipping. And like now that we've got computers, that we carry around, a lot of kids have a lot of better things to do than go cow tipping. So it stands to reason there's maybe not a lot of videos of cow tipping. And I wasn't really sure what the deal was. Okay, see, and Kulika's coming in, take it from a dairy farmer. It was a joke on the city kids. Exactly. Shock. In the dark, still hard to get a video. That was actually one of the arguments that that my friend had, was like, it's too dark to get a video, blah, blah, blah. So there's this internet, between one of my friends and a random stranger. So I went and looked it up. And honestly, I can tell you, I don't know if it's a myth or not, because everything I have found online goes to the direction of it's a myth. But then every once in a while, it's like, well, yeah, but wait a second. What about this story and this, that, and the other thing, right? And so I just wasn't sure. Now, I know that some cows prefer to be tipped, but those cows generally are the ones that are, giving you good service with the milk, right? But other cows, they're not down with the cow tipping. No cow tipping. And so basically here, this is the conversation. This is my question that I'm posing to you guys. Have you personally ever gone cow tipping? And if you haven't, have you witnessed or been have you been part of a crew that some idiots went and jumped the fence and tried to do it? So that, I guess, like, have you actually witnessed, have you been a part of, witnessed, or done actual cow tipping, or attempted to tip a cow? Because Poppy Shaney's here saying, oh yeah, it totally happened. Kalika's here saying, oh yeah, no, that totally doesn't happen. And that is basically what the consensus I have come across on the internet was. It's like, oh yeah, it's totally true. Oh yeah, it's totally not true. And so I actually have no idea if it's true or not. And so it sounds like Poppy Shaney, you are the only one who actually has seen it. Now, I guess for my next question, Poppy Shaney, since you're the only one who can give me this info, were they successful? Were they able to get the amount of force that it would take to tip the cow? Because apparently one of the arguments for cow tipping just does not happen is that, first off, cows don't sleep standing up. Second off, if a cow is awake and standing up, it is a creature of it's not a creature of prey. It is prey for other creatures. So it is very aware of what is going on around it and has a very strong startle response that might end up getting your head kicked in if you're in the wrong position. And besides that, the angle of the tipping point, like, it's really hard to tip cows over. Is what the argument is saying. On the other hand, I've heard so many stories of cow tipping that were, honestly, I just sort of thought it was drunken kids out on the back roads getting, bored and whatever. And so I just don't know. And so Kulika, right, cows sleep laying down. That's what they say on the internet. And it takes 5 big Samoan Brados to even move one. And basically that is what the argument was for the nobody goes cow tipping side of the argument. I am more, I guess, in the middle, in the sense that it's like, well, just because you can't tip a cow doesn't mean that people haven't gone cow tipping to attempt to tip the cow. So there is perhaps an overlap of truth and lies. Let's see here. Andre, coming in a very odd time of the conversation, is cow tipping a code for some form of getting busy with a cow or something? No, you've never heard of cow tipping? Cow tipping is something that rural teenagers generally, and I've always associated it with being super drunk, super bored, nothing else to do, in the middle of the night, go into a cow pasture, Cows sleep standing up, which isn't really true, but this is part of the cow tipping myth. They sleep standing up, and when they sleep standing up, they're really easy to tip over. So you sneak up to the cow and you tip him over, and then you run away giggling like a drunken fool. That is what basically cow tipping is. And the start of this conversation was basically, one part of the internet says cow tipping is not a thing, it is just an urban myth that we told the city folk as a joke, and that's Kulika's stance. Poppy Shaney, on the other hand, is like, no, actually, I've seen things. You know, I haven't done some stuff, but I've seen some things. And so I'm just trying to figure out if anybody here had any kind of experience in the cow tipping activities that may or may not have taken place during their drunken youth. And it doesn't have to be drunk, I guess, but honestly, I mean, don't you really think there's probably alcohol involved? If it exists, don't you think there's probably alcohol involved? I refuse to believe that there's a lot of sober people going around doing this. So, and Kulika, your milk cows weighed 13 to 1,500 pounds, so there's that. Exactly, yeah, that's part of the argument of like, no, you don't go cow tipping. And so Andre, if you could tip a cow, you could also be crushed by a falling cow, and you never hear that. Well, obviously, you'd be on the other side of the falling. However, you are totally correct. The opportunity to get injured, be it by falling or a kick, I think it would be more likely an errant leg maneuver that would probably take a tipper out, right? But you're totally right. Like, cows have the potential to flip and flurp and injure you if you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. If you're at the wrong end of the hoof, as it were. And so, so you're right. Like, you would think that there'd be more injuries from cow tipping as well. And Michael Anthony Smith, so good to see you coming in today. You may or may not have any experience in this, but we are talking about cow tipping, whether or not it actually exists. I am of the impression that it probably doesn't. Kulika and plenty of people on the internet are just like, it's just an urban myth. It's a joke that farmers play on city folk to tell, it's just a lie, it's whatever. But Poppy Shaney's like, well, it might be a lie, but I've seen people try to do it. And so it's like, all right, so it's like, did the lie spawn a behavior that was unsuccessful or whatever? And so, Michael Anthony, if you love cows, you do not tip them. Well, I'm not suggesting that you do tip them, but what I am asking everyone is, did you know somebody who ever tipped a cow? Did you ever see a cow getting tipped? Were you ever part of a drunken group of teenagers or young adults that decided to go cow tipping? And how did that end up working out? I'm just wondering what everybody's cow tipping experience might be. I've never been cow tipping, but it didn't occur to me until just yesterday that it might not be real. And then the more research I did, the more I was like, oh, I really feel like this might not really be real. So, and then, Andre, what if you made a mistake and tried to tip a bull? That would not end well. Yeah, that's actually, I think, something that Shock said first out of the gate when I was talking about cow tipping. She's like, always make sure it's not the bull. Because, yeah, that's exactly it. And so, okay, so Poppy Shaney, the person you saw was not successful. Okay, so I'm getting the impression, and Shock coming in, my late redneck friend Roger confirms it. It's unwise to tip the bull. Perfect. Okay. And so Poppy, all right, so I think you guys were doing some really good work here. I feel like we might be coming to a point, the consensus that it's like, well, you can't really tip a cow, but that doesn't necessarily stop people from trying. And the reason why they're trying is because some farmers made a joke that people took seriously, and now there's people actually going out and doing that, or trying to do that. And that kind of makes the most sense to me. But I was hoping, because I figured Kenny from Texas and then Rick and Darlene from Wisconsin, for goodness sake. I mean, come on. They've got a couple cows in Wisconsin. In case you don't know, they've got some cows in Wisconsin. And so I figured they might have some tales of pathetic attempts to tip a cow back in the day. But it looks like we've got some real deal folks here. Kulika being the legitimate voice of reason, who is just like, no, this sort of might happen, but it never really happens. And so, so it was a joke gone viral in the old school way. Okay, all right, yeah, that makes total sense. But at the same time, though, I'm not at all surprised that a joke that has been so long-lived, because I mean, I've heard of cow tipping, in the 70s, and this was before computers. I mean, cow tipping is an old joke. And so I guess a joke that's that long-lived, I suppose it's going to take on a life of its own, and somebody is going to believe it, and then think that it's a fun thing to do one day when they're drunk. And e-music, yes, perfect. E-music coming in. I knew that you were in Wisconsin, but I wasn't sure if you lived in Wisconsin during drunken teenage years. So I wasn't sure if you would have experience, but yeah, ask the dairy farm if they've got any stories about cow tipping, because I really, and if they do, bring them back to the stream. This is just I just am delighted to hear what their stories might be. And let's see here. Yeah, Andre, exactly. I wouldn't jump into an enclosure with cows. They could hurt you. They're herd animals and they gang up on you. Absolutely, which is why which is one reason why I feel like a lot of these, if cow tipping attempts actually are attempted, I feel like they're attempted with drunken people. Or the drunken, you're not sober when you're making these decisions. I feel like we can all agree on that, right? I mean, and I have no doubt. I don't know if it was Roger Shock. Obviously, I don't know if it was Roger or not, but I have no doubt that that you know somebody that has gotten arse full of rock salt before. I've known somebody who's gotten an arse full of rock salt before. I don't care if you're in somebody else's garden, if you're in somebody else's pasture, if you're on somebody else's property, you might get shot, and you'll be lucky if it's just with some rock salt. At least that's how it was in the neighborhood that I grew up in. It wasn't necessarily a lot of guns, but let me tell you, man, yeah, there was a lot of rock salt shooting neighbors that we had to keep various and assorted critters, including your youngins, out of their garden. And yeah, Andre, I would ask Andy if he were here, but I feel like this is definitely not an important enough topic to shoot off an email to him. But actually, maybe it is an important enough topic to shoot an email off, because I really would like to see what Andy had to say. And let's see here. And yeah, Andre. Well, and actually, Andre, here you go. You remember as a kid in Hawaii, all the adults looking for magic mushrooms. Maybe they tried tripping with the cows. Well, actually, when you're looking for mushrooms, sometimes you are in the same pasture as the cows. So, I mean, I guess, people do jump the fence into the cow pasture for all sorts of different reasons. And, Bobby Shaney, you grew up on a 3,000-acre hay and cattle ranch. Large animals are okay as long as you know how to handle them and be around them. Yeah, as long as you know how to handle them. I'm guessing, though, a lot of people who are out there looking for mushrooms might not know how to handle those large animals. But yeah, cows are, I mean, obviously with any animal that's that large, you could totally get injured. But cows, to me, are not nearly as frightening as, say, pigs or sows. Oh my God, those animals are also huge and oh so very smart, a little bit devious, and some of them even have a flippin' attitude. And Yeah, as my dad used to tell me when I was a little kid, he's just like, on the farm, the most dangerous job on the farm was to go feed the pigs. Because if you slipped into their trough, you were feeding the pigs. And that's, yeah, you were feeding yeah, exactly. The pigs will eat you. That was exactly it. You are now feeding the pigs. You're not just feeding them slop, you are feeding the pigs. Yeah, that was exactly what he told me. And, you know, a little bit disturbing, shall we say. But, you know, yeah, it is what it is. And, let's see here. Oh, Poppy Shaney, that's hysterical. You also grew feeder corn for your cattle. You used to laugh at the city folks when they thought they were being sly and stole the feeder corn thinking it was good to eat. Awful tasting, not the same as corn we humans eat. No, it's not. From my understanding, it's a little bit tougher and definitely not as sweet. That's why the corn humans eat is usually referred to as sweet corn. And then there's feed corn. At least that's always been my assumption. But Poppy Shady, you would actually know. You would actually know whether or not sweet corn versus feed corn is what those are called. But I have noticed that the human variety seems to be referred to as sweet corn. Oh, think hominy. Okay, right. Yeah, so it's bigger too then, I guess, huh? And Andre, most Europeans think all corn is for animals. Wow, well, you know, they must have some good, some well-fed animals then, those corn-fed cows. You know, Poppy Shaney, I wonder if you had left a little sign. You know, it's like a little, you know, for those of you stealing our corn, here's a good recipe. And then, you know, you just give them some awful recipe for the corn. Anyway. And Gina, the images of being eaten by pigs will replace the Happy Meal toys in your nightmares. Well, you know, I'm so sorry that the last couple streams have been nothing but nightmare fuel for you. But yeah, those McDonald's toys really were nightmare fuel. And let's see here. Oh, so the feed corn, you think, is what they use to make grits? Yeah, I don't know about that. But, I mean, I guess that would be the best way to use it. Because you grind it real small and season it up real good. And hey, Elaine, how are you doing? Yes, catching the live. Right now we're sort of finishing up a topic about cow tipping and whether or not cow tipping actually exists. And it seems like we've come to the conclusion that it is a joke that farmers played on city folk, but city folk took it seriously, and then some people actually attempt it, which is a very bad idea. And let's see here. eMusic, you noticed last week that the grocery store is selling 50 bags of deer corn. Oh, wow. That just seems strange. Like, that seems like a hunting supply store kind of thing. But, you know, whatever. I guess if you've got wow, really, the grocery store. All right. Hey, Poppy Shaney, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm so glad that you were able to join us and give us the lowdown about the real life cow tipping. You were definitely a good source, a solid source of info, better than the ones that you can find on the internet. So you go have an excellent dinner and make it home tomorrow. I hope that you finally get home tomorrow. May the clouds blow over and you fly in free and clear. And it looks like Cindy Krause is coming in to take Poppy Shaney's place. Hey, Cindy, good to see you. And let's see here. Cindy, you probably don't have any experience with this, but you might. Have you ever tipped a cow? We're talking about cow tipping and whether or not it really exists. And I'm just wondering, have you ever tipped a cow? Or did you ever be part of a group that tipped a cow? Or trying to tip that cow, as it were? And so yeah, that's the question of the day. Have you ever tipped a cow? I have not. I always thought cow tipping was really just what drunk teenage kids did after dark when they had nothing else, when the beer was gone and they had nothing else to do. And yeah, or if you haven't tipped a cow, have you tipped a zebra? So there you go. That's another question that we could ask. Probably only Cindy, but we could ask. Okay, so Cindy never did it, but saw it happen. Sneak up on the cow sleeping and tip him over. So you did see somebody do this. You were part of a group that actually did it. Is that what I'm understanding? See, I had a feeling we had people that would do this. Or knew people that would do this. I had a feeling I just knew you guys, StatterBox crew, would have some info on this. And so, Cindy, you were part of a crew that attempted to tip the cow. Even though you didn't. They attempted to, or did they? And, yeah, exactly, Andrea, how much did you drink that night? I'm not asking for numbers on that, because you probably can't remember how many drinks you drank. But I am curious whether or not you actually saw the cow fall. Or if your co-conspirators came back with tales of pushing it over, but if you actually didn't see it. If you didn't really see it, I don't know if I'm going to believe them, because a lot of cows apparently sleep laying down already. They don't sleep standing up. If they're standing up, they're awake. And if they're awake, their stutter response sometimes can be pretty impressive and cause injuries to those that are trying to sneak up on it. So I am still curious because we're getting conflicting messages here. Which is why I brought it to the StatterBox crew, because on the internet, there seem to be equal parts, no, cow tipping does not happen, and equal parts, oh yeah, cow tipping totally happens. And so, Elaine is asking a perfectly good question. Was the cow standing or sleeping down on the ground? These are the important topics that we're tackling here today. And another important topic that we're tackling here today is this cute little dog named Peanut. Peanut is very cute. And Peanut, I think, would make a good co-pilot for Poppy Shaney, but he lives in Mississippi, and he's got a lady that takes good care of him, so I guess he'll just stay in Mississippi. But his name's Peanut, and I told everybody earlier that I was going to show Peanut randomly throughout the stream, and here we are showing Peanut randomly throughout the stream. And that's how that goes. So, Cindy's saying, Louie had cow pasture in Kaneohe, and we got shot at with salt gun for our shenanigans. Cows stand, and if you can sneak up on them, you can tip them, but it's not easy to sneak up. Okay, well now, Cindy, you have quite literally brought the entire thread of conversation into your comment for the most part, because yes, this getting shot with rock salt is 1000% what it has been, yeah. What we were talking about happening. Getting shot with rock salt, 100%. If you're trespassing on someone's property, especially in rural land, getting shot with rock salt is definitely number one fear factor that you've got to worry about. And so the cows stand, and then it's hard to sneak up on them. So all right. So I guess it is sort of semi-true, I guess. So my what is it? Snopes judgment is maybe a yellow. It's not quite true, not quite false. I could see here, Cindy, the reason why I asked this question was one of my friends got into an argument online, which he has already, a great intro to a topic. I got into an argument online about whether or not cow tipping actually existed. And she was insisting it did. Someone else was insisting it didn't. And so, exactly, Chuck, we need a peer-reviewed study. We do. And let's see here. Oh, Cindy, so you were too young to drink, and Louis had a good aim with that gun, got a scar on your ankle to prove it. Well then there, little missy. You really were part of some shenanigans then, without a doubt. But I frankly am a little bit surprised that there wasn't at least one beer. Just because you're too young to drink doesn't mean that you didn't necessarily drink, right? Yeah, maybe the cows in Hawaii are eating the pakalolo and easier to tip. Yeah, maybe. Hard to say. Yeah, so, all right. I guess we're really not really any closer to finding the truth here. Although I guess some of the truth is, yeah, some people do try to tip cows. They don't necessarily do tip them, but they try. There we go. All right, so let's see here. Okay. Oh, I know what we can do. And oh wait, hold on. Cindy was saying you had great fun wading up in the tree and dropping onto the cows to ride them. Bad country kids. Oh my goodness, riding the cows. You were a real cowgirl, I guess, huh? But you know, Cindy's a crazy girl, and riding cows, well, that's what she does. Speaking of which, let's check that out.
I'm just so amazed at how she makes me feel every day. Little bit of this, little bit of that. She's like a cat scratching up my back. She's got her claws in me now. Accidentally, incidentally, I don't know just how it happened. She's got a groove I respect so well. Don't ask me how it started. I was sitting there so broken hearted, looking for a trace of that smile she left on my face. That's what she does. 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 She can take a frown, turn it upside down and inside out. She can take a hurricane, make the day all nice again. Lives in reality, been there, done that, 1, 2, 3. She can please a man and a few women too. Free and single, likes to mingle with the best of the best. What's your position, mommy? Just a little lower now. That's what she does. 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 Wow. Recognize me now, yeah, that's me over there, trying to get a glimpse of that girl, that. What am I supposed to do? Cause she's moving and a grooving, cooking up a recipe. Even Sam Choi would like puree, gravy. She serves it up so well, yeah, my appetite is overwhelming. Give me some desserts, baby, make it hurt, and I'll be back for more of that kick and glide. Give me 2 more tens, we're gonna pick it up again. Number 3, you call it, just keep it smooth. That's what she does. 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 When the dance is over and she comes to me so freely with her arms open wide, she's taking me inside. Watch out, thinking that I had it easy. Then she says,
right, there we have it. So thank you so much, Andre, for the biddies and for those gift subs. And it sounds like today is a great day for you. You've got a day off tomorrow, and you've got a belly full of Thai food. Yum, yum. I haven't had Thai food in quite some time, and I'm thinking maybe Thai food might be on the menu for tonight. Yes, I might have to go to one of the several Thai food options that are just a couple blocks from my house. And even though one of them isn't, even though one of the options that I have that I want to go to, and I want to go to it because they serve crab rangoons, and I know that crab rangoons are not Thai food, they are not Chinese food, they are not nothing, but they are so good. And Krungtep sells the crab rangoons. They're so tasty. Tayuup is usually where I go, but Krungtep is actually even closer to my house than Tayuup is. It's on the same block though. And like I said, Krungtep has the crab rangoons, and I will tell you what, their crab rangoons are so flippin' tasty. And I know crab rangoons are a bastardization of absolutely no Asian anythingness. I know, but it's just, they're just so tasty. And Elaine, that's okay. Time to get some senior nap time. It's okay if you are K, because napping is always important. And Keone is always posting from Krungtep, for sure. That being said, obviously, the Krungtep that Keone is posting from, Keone Nunes, for those of you who aren't familiar with who Shak is referring to, he lives in Thailand, and Krungtep is, I believe, the Thai name for Bangkok. Now, the Krungtep that I'm talking about is the name of a restaurant, a Thai food restaurant. So, two different Krungteps, but same concept in the sense that, it's Thai, except for the crab rangoons. Crab rangoons aren't Thai. They're not Japanese. They're not Chinese. They're just made up deep fried yummy things that are, I don't know where they came from, but I'm 97% sure they originated in America. They might have originated in Hawaii. For some reason, I'm having it in the back of my head that someplace in Hawaii actually developed them. But I think it might, but I could be wrong. Either way, they are American all the way. Yeah, they're absolutely not Asian food at all. I think it's safe to assume that anything with cream cheese in it is not authentically Asian. Now, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but that's just a little theory I have. If it's got cream cheese in it, it's probably an Asian fusion thing at best. It's not authentically Asian with cream cheese in it. And Andre, okay, so they've got crab rangoon at your L&L. See, all right, there we go. It absolutely is, not. It is an everywhere and a nowhere dish. And okay, crab rangoon was invented by Trader Vic. That's why I was giving it a Hawaiian thing, because of the tiki bar. But yeah, okay, so not Hawaiian. Trader Vic, got it. That makes total sense. That makes total sense. And yeah, Shak, your student had some words about the fermented mare's milk in Mongolia. He's braver than you, just saying. As gross as that sounds, because it does, it's like that my mental block for that is really my own personal issue and your personal issue, because how is that, other than it's a mare, but how is that really any different than yogurt? Yogurt is fermented, isn't it? Or kefir is fermented, isn't it? It's not like we don't have something similar in our culture, because we do. Yet, for some reason, his version seems way scarier to me. And like I said, that's my problem. I'm not like trying to judge. Oh, it's boozy. Oh, so it's fermented in a different way than kefir. You can get, now I'm really freaking out. You can get drunk on the fermented mare's milk. Yeah, all right. I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't know how I feel about that. So, Andre, they say that when the Russians first came to Mongolia, they didn't bring communism, they brought vodka, and after that, they were open to anything. Well, perhaps, I guess, but I mean, hasn't vodka been a part of Russian culture way longer than communism's like been a thing? You know, I mean, like, it doesn't surprise me that they brought vodka first, because I think vodka existed before communism. Yeah, so, you know, vodka is older than communism as far as I know. So let's see here. Okay, so you have to drink a lot of it, but it is alcoholic. You know, I don't really want to talk about this anymore because I've got like an urge to maybe gag, and that is gross. And yeah, I guess you can make booze from anything. That is true. Pruno proves that. Pruno, by the way, for those of you who aren't familiar with prison parlance, Pruno is the type of wine that they make in prison with pieces of bread, leftover and juice and water and whatever, and you know, you get drunk off of it. Hey, C Honda, good to see you. All right, we are today's topic for the most part was cow tipping, and whether or not you've seen cow tipping, been a part of cow tipping, or cow tipped yourself. Well, not yourself, but when, you know, you yourself push the cow over. So it seems like some people have, some people haven't. But yeah, that was the main topic. However, Thomas, your grandpa used to make swipe pineapple booze. Tell me more about this, because that sounds delicious. And Terry, good to see you. Aloha to all of the raiders coming in. It looks like Katie's aura is here, and I'm guessing that Thomas the Turtle might have come in with that raid. So, Terry, thank you so much for being that raid instigator, so to speak. And let's see here. The Mongolian strongest booze was fermented mare's milk. Not very strong, but when vodka came, it blew them away, and they still have a really bad alcohol problem. Well, yeah, dude, because vodka, when you make it right, tastes like water. You know, and vodka when you make it wrong does not. But vodka when you make it right tastes like water. So it can go down a little easy. It can go down just a little easy. And and let's see here. So yeah, so Thomas the Turtle, very curious about that swipe stuff. And then another thing that we were talking about was crab rangoons, and just how not Asian they are, except for they're in Asian, pretty much any Asian food restaurant. And oh my goodness, Shock, you were totally right. Terry in Scotland, being from Texas. Okay, you guys, this is basically going to be known as the cow tipping episode. The cow tipping stream is what this stream is going to be known. So you guys, all right. This is, you know, we're talking about cow tipping again. And it's funny you should say that, Katie, because sometimes cows do welcome the tips. Sometimes the tips are welcome. And other times, though, cows are like, no cow tipping, please. No cow tipping, please. But okay, so Terry, you lived in Texas, and you may or may not have been a party to an attempt at cow tipping in part of your life. And I was just curious if you had any cow tipping experience or stories, if you witnessed cow tipping. Was there alcohol involved in the cow tipping? And basically just anything that you know about cow tipping that you have personally witnessed, we want to know about. Because the internet seems to be divided into whether or not cow tipping is even a thing that happens. And here on the stream, I've come to the determination that, like, cow tipping might have started as a joke, but people took the joke seriously, and now people do attempt to cow tip. And so I just want to know all the cow tipping stories. And so let's see here. Thomas, as it is commonly known in Hawaii, swipes is the native beer. Hold on. The beverage might be made almost all ingredients found in any well-regulated stock kitchen. The principal articles are sugar, corn syrup, pineapple root, Chinese ginger, bran potatoes, and sliced pineapples. It is fermented and strained after standing about for 4 or 5 days and then ready for use. There you go. Yeah, so basically it's sort of a fancier version of Pruno is what swipe is. Okay. And Terry, you say that drunk cows are easier to tip. Okay, so Mr. Tall Texas Tail Terry, how did you get the cows drunk then, huh? Answer me this. How'd you get the cows drunk then? Andre, does everybody in Texas know about cows, even in the cities? Do you have to take Texas history and all about the cows in school? Well, I can't tell you that everybody knows about cows, but I can say that there is so much open land in Texas that, yeah, even if you live in the cities, chances are you could, run across an area where cows are there to tip. And so maybe you might go do it. And let's see here. And Cindy Krause. Okay, so Cindy Krause, you just cored a pineapple, a growing pineapple, packed it with sugar, and come back in 4 or 5 days. Oh, and then that'd ferment up. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Terry, you can lead a cow to water, but that won't get him drunk. Exactly. That's why I want to know, Mr. Tall Texas Tail Terry, how did you get him drunk? Did you give him long neck bottles of Lone Star and let him drink off the teat, like the long neck would be the teat, So you get it? Yeah. And you wired the top back on, of course. Yeah, of course, we figured as much. Otherwise, it would get all full of bugs and stuff, I would think. So Andre is asking if anybody actually distills the pineapple stuff. Well, Andre, now, feeding them crazy weed isn't going to get them drunk. It's just going to maybe get them stoned, and then they just maybe want to lay down. And if they're already laying down, then they're really going to be hard to tip over. I mean, you already know, when you're sleeping next to somebody who's snoring, and that's just a person. So, it's hard enough to get them to roll over while they're sleeping. Cows got to be impossible, right? And okay. Okay, so cows prefer the Shinerbach, huh? Is that what's going on? All right, Shinerbach for the cows. Good to know. That's a pro tip right here from Tall Texas Tails Terry. Yes, there we go. Shinerbach. No Pearl beer, just the Shinerbach. All right. And let's see here. The only drugs you heard cows getting into was loco weed. Well, I can only assume that cows must get into some magic mushrooms on accident too, right? I mean, they do grow in their field. I'm not suggesting that the mushrooms would do anything to them. What with the size different, the size of the cow and the tininess of the mushroom. But I'd be willing to bet that they probably get into magic mushrooms too every once in a while. And let's see here. Yes, Terry, I may or may not know a little bit about loco weed. Just a little bit. May or may not. Except for when I do, which is all the time. There you go. Well, I know they grow in cow poop, but they also, if the cow poop, gets... I'd be willing to bet that cows have eaten their own poop on accident. It dries up. It flies away. It's, I wouldn't be surprised if they accidentally ingest a mushroom or two now and again, right? And C Honda, yes, you know nothing about cow tipping. I'm not at all surprised, actually. That doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, I know that you may have had opportunities because cows really are almost everywhere. But yeah, you didn't strike me as someone who grew up in a rural enough area to get get the old cow tip urge, so to speak. Oh, yeah. So silly things that bored, drunk teenagers do, or not drunk, because apparently Cindy Krause, her cow tipping actions were all done completely sober, which I have to say blows my stereotype. I mean, it completely blows my stereotype. And because cow tipping to me is absolutely only to be explained if you're drunk, right? Right. So, I mean, come on. And, see, Honda, you'd be so worried about stepping in their poop. Valid concern. Valid concern. I can only assume that if you are going cow tipping, you really better dress for the sport. You know, you better put on some good work boots, maybe some rubber boots, actually, and then definitely get your grubbies. Like, expect to have some mud at the cleanest. Expect to have mud on your clothes and skin, and we'll just hope that it's mud that's on those clothes instead of other things. It's just mud, right? It's mud. Let's see here. See, Honda, you don't have any live cows in Los Angeles. Yeah, I would be willing to bet that you probably... Well, you know, in Los Angeles County, I wouldn't be surprised if there might be a cow or two. But in the city limits of Los Angeles, oh goodness gracious, I would like to think that there's not a cow. I mean, that would just be awkward, right? You know, the cow's trying to get on the bus because the rapid transit train doesn't exist and no Uber will pick up a cow. Takes up the whole back hind thing of the bus. Never has the proper change. It's just a hassle for a cow to live in Los Angeles, dude. And Terry, you are correct, I think, because here, where did it go? There is, they didn't say 20%, but some cows absolutely think that tips are welcome. I found proof on the internet of that. I absolutely found proof of the internet. And, let's see here. Hold on. Wait. What, Shock? You love that video of the car with 2 camels in it. Okay. I've never seen that video, but it definitely has piqued my curiosity. Or your description of it, I mean, has piqued my curiosity. And, let's see here. Cindy Krause, if you want to hang with cows, come on over. San Miguel, get plenty. Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind about that. And Katie Zora, wait, what? Yeah, exactly. Wait, what? I hope you're talking about the 2 camels, but maybe you're talking about what Andre said, which doesn't really surprise me because in 1940s, I wouldn't be surprised if there was cows in Los Angeles as well, because, as Andre said, in San Francisco, they used to herd cows in the Bayview section of San Francisco to a part of the area called Butchertown in the 40s. Yeah, that's basically the only reason why there might be a cow in the city of Los Angeles. And frankly, I'd like to assume that the city, that they don't do that in the work in the city anymore. They kind of do that maybe out in the county. So, all right, so Shaka's got the camel video link. So if you guys want to check out the camel video, there is proof that it is on the internet. Now, whether or not the internet proof, it's true, is a different story. But but yes, indeedy, apparently two camels in a car does exist. And oh, okay, so Andre, they still herd the cows to Cow Palace in San Francisco when they have a rodeo. I didn't know that. Okay, this is really strange, but it never occurred to me that there'd be a rodeo in Cow Palace. I've always heard of Cow Palace as a music venue. That being said, a place called Cow Palace is way logical for a rodeo. So why it didn't occur to me that there might be a rodeo in a place called Cow Palace kind of makes me feel silly, but yeah, and it's the national one. There you go. So now I have to wonder, okay, see, Honda, do you guys have a rodeo in Los Angeles? I mean, maybe there are cows in Los Angeles, I guess, right? So let's see here. If the cowboys working the Wagoner Ranch caught you tipping one of their cows, they might tip you in a horse trough. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, the owners of the land that the cows are grazing on definitely does not. They have a tendency not to appreciate any kind of trespasser, especially trespassers that are like, messing with their herd. So yeah, I always thought part of cow tipping was being sneaky enough to not get caught by the owner of the land and then not get caught by the cow. So let's see here. See, Honda, what's a rodeo? Fair enough. Well, yeah, I don't think that we've got a rodeo. I don't think Seattle holds a rodeo, but I know that all of the towns, all the towns that are, remotely rural and adjacent to Seattle, they definitely have some big ass rodeos. The Puyallup Fair has a huge rodeo. The Evergreen State Fair up in Moreau has a big rodeo. And if you go to the mountains, just about an hour and a half east of Seattle, is it Ellensburg that has the really big rodeo? I think it's Ellensburg that has a really big rodeo. So yeah, we definitely have rodeos around here, but not in the city of Seattle. That much I can tell you. And see, Honda. Of course, yeah, you guys don't have cow tipping. You have car tipping during the riots. Although that I don't think is exclusive to Los Angeles. I think once there's a riot going on, when the local team wins the big sports ball event, the riots, those types of riots definitely are known for car tipping. Even Seattle has had a car tipping incident in that kind of circumstance. So let's see here. Oh, okay. So Thomas the Turtle throwing down. Booze Traveler season. Oh, that's hysterical. Booze Traveler, like Blues Traveler. I've never heard of this show. So, okay, it's on the Travel Channel. Booze Traveler, season 2, episode 9, Hawaiian Crush. Jack samples daiquiris and pineapple homebrew in Hawaii. Awesome. I will have to check that out. And rodeo is when cowboys and girls show off their riding and roping skills. Yes, they do. Let's see here. Shock, your high school football team picked up the shop teacher's VW and moved it as a prank. Well, I'm assuming it was a VW bug, right? And that actually doesn't surprise me at all, because I think, probably 6 of them, could have probably done that, right? Let's see here. Oh yeah, you've seen some cowboy boots and hats that have never been off concrete. Oh, for sure. Oh, I have no doubt in my mind. But you know what though? See, Honda, just because you've seen those people wearing those fancy boots and hats that have never been off the concrete doesn't mean that they don't have boots and hats that have been off the concrete. Because oftentimes when I see cowboy dudes in town, they're dressed up to go out dancing. Like they've got their fancy Western gear on. Not their work Western gear, their fancy Western gear. And so they have the work gear, but they're going out on a Saturday night. They're all perfumed up and styled up and, looking fine in their cowboy hats and their cowboy boots. It's so cute when I see all the little cowboys going out clubbing. Now, one thing this reminds me of, I was driving down the street in Burien one day, and there's a Chinese food restaurant that's been around since like 1960 something, and it's called the Happy Garden. And so super old Chinese food restaurant. And in front of the Chinese food, or leaning on the Chinese food restaurant wall next to the Happy Garden sign, was this black dude with silver dreadlocks down to his waist, right? And he was dressed in full cowboy gear. And when I say full cowboy gear, I mean working cowboy gear. the work hat, the work boots, the work jacket, the whole, I mean, he was in full cowboy gear. Clearly he was, had gotten off the job and was getting some dinner. And he was leaning against the wall smoking a cigarette. And all I could think of was, man, that's the most American thing I've ever seen in my life. A black dreadlocked cowboy leaning against a Chinese food restaurant, smoking a cigarette. Like, that just did my heart good. And so let's see here. Now that I've gone off on some random thing, Elaine saying that South Point Hotel has a rodeo that you can smell a long way away. That's funny. Oh, Thomas the Turtle, $1.99 on Google or more if you want to buy the whole season 2. Excellent. That's good to know. I didn't know that you could buy episodes. Oh, that's good to know because I don't always want the whole season. And Andre, you were once on Kauai and your little Civic got stuck in the sand and those off-duty Marines helped and picked up the car and put it back on the paved road. That doesn't surprise me. And I have to ask, were you at the beach? And were you at the beach on the far west side, southwest side, where it ends? Not up past Honolulu, not on the Napali coast north side, but were you at the beach on the far west side of the island where the road literally ends? Because that beach, I got so scared when my host took me to that beach because I was convinced we were gonna get caught in the sand, and she's like, no, it's all, everybody drives on this, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, there was a lot of sand on that road. Yeah. And let's see here. So Terry, your grandpa used to the Santa Rosa Roundup Rodeo in Vernon, Texas. There we go. And let's see here. Cindy Krause is telling Steve Honda all the city cowboys always have one bale of hay in their truck. Real cowboys get like 20 bales. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and C Honda, that's actually who I was talking about. The ones with the fancy hats and the fancy boots. It's the vaqueros. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The Mexican cowboys. We actually have a large population of folks like that in the Burien area. Or actually, maybe not in the Burien area, but we have a couple clubs in Burien that cater to that population. So yeah, you get to see them in all their fancy gear. It's so cute. I mean, they are shiny and sparkly, some of those guys. And let's see here. You see 3 guys in a pickup truck. How do you know which one is the real cowboy? I'm not sure. And Andre, it was Polly Holly. I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know where that is. I don't remember where that is. But you say it's right near the missile testing place. Okay, I didn't know there was a missile testing place on Kauai. So I'm gonna have to look it up to see if we're talking about the same thing. But it sounds like we're talking about the same place. And let's see here. Wow, your cousin Barbara Tuttle was the house singer at Gillies in Houston, where Urban Cowboy was filmed. Her husband Bobby won a Grammy for it. That's crazy, dude. That's like big time fame right there. I mean, I know that it's not fame for you, but you're big time fame adjacent. You're fame adjacent. Let's see here. Thomas the Turtle, Campbell Man is a cowboy of sorts with his pet Red. I'm not so sure that a real cowboy would call K-Man a real cowboy though, since it's a pet, because he refers to Red as a pet, you know. Let's see here. So, Shock, okay, it's the one in the middle that's the real cowboy. He doesn't have to drive, and he doesn't have to go get the gate. Seems like he's the smart cowboy. And, let's see here. They say in Texas, you can always tell the real cowboys, the poop is on the outside of their boots. Yep, there you go. Although I'd be willing to bet they don't use the word poop when they're saying that saying in Texas. Let's see here. Andre's coming in. Oh yeah, Magic Sands, and you think was called We Camp. Oh no, I think it's called You Camp Near There and Could See the Surface to Air Missiles. Got it. So that's where Terry got his singing voice, is through his cousin's talent, Barbara Tuttle. There you go. We're now introducing Barbara's cousin to Gillies. Does Gillies still exist? Terry, why do I feel like Gillies got shut down recently? Am I making that up? I'm good at making stuff up. I feel like I might be making that up, but I also feel like I might not be. So, let's see here. So, cattle arrived in Hawaii in 1793. The king put a kapu on them, and they literally went wild. Around 1812, Hawaiian cattle ranching started. Okay. Yeah, that's actually good to know. That I've got a question that I don't really know how to ask, so I'm not going to ask it. But your info is giving me more fuel to my question. So let's see here. You don't think Gillies is still a going concern? Okay. And let's see here. Cindy Krause, we got all sorts of cowboys and just as many cowgirls. The cowgirls are pretty amazing on a horse. Then we get people like Frank Parlett, who gets drunk and rides his horse into the Elkhorn Bar. Your ex-sister-in-law got knocked out riding behind Frank because she didn't duck. Oh no! That's not good. But I have, what you say, Cindy, actually is something that Lono has mentioned a million times in various and assorted descriptions of songs that he has posted on his YouTube channel. And he always mentions that the girls were always better cowboys than the dudes. Like when it came time for, roping skills and this, that, all the little rodeos that, that the kids compete in, the girls were always better than the boys. The girls were just better. So there you go. I'm not at all surprised that that Cindy's just like, oh yeah, no, the girls kick ass. Oh yeah, totally. And let's see here. Oh yeah, Shuck, that makes sense. The word buckaroo probably does come from vaquero, or however you say. I'm gonna say it's vaquero, but I don't know. I don't speak Spanish, so I'm just awful that way. And let's see here. Billy Bob's Texas in Fort Worth is still going strong. It has its own rodeo. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Well, yeah, V sometimes sounds like B in Spanish. That is true. That is true. But I still say vaquero. So Thomas, I guess though what you're saying, so the American Wild West era of iconic cowboys was 1865 to 1900. So basically, the Hawaiians were way ahead of the Americas when it comes to the cowboy tradition, as it were. At least that's what it seems like date-wise. I mean, 1793 or whatever, when they first hit Hawaii, that's craziness. And Thomas, who is it that brought the cows to Hawaii, actually? Do we know? Was it the king that brought them? Or did some other, some other explorer drop them off? Because sometimes explorers do that. It was Captain Vancouver that brought the cows. I had a feeling that it was an explorer dropping things off. There we go. In 1832, King Kamehameha III sent for help to teach the Hawaiians how to handle the wild cattle. The help came from 3 Mexican Spanish vaqueros who taught the Hawaiians roping, herding, breaking, and other skills. That makes sense. Yeah, there you go. So, all right. So there you have it. Okay. I guess this really is a cow. This episode is all about cows, you guys. It's all about the cows. from tipping them to roping them and breaking them and everything like that. We're talking about cows today. And let's see here. So Captain Vancouver was second in charge of Captain Cook's ships. Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me, actually. Let's see here. On muscle of my arm, there's red and blue tattoo that says Fort Worth, I love you. I'll take your word for it, Terry, that is a song, and I'll also assume I did not sing it properly. So, let's see here. Cindy, when you worked at Indian Valley Ranch, they had 2 roundups a year, and those girls would rope, tie, and castrate a cow faster than you can figure out what they're up to. Oh, wow. Cowabunga. Exactly, Sionda. There you have it. Oh, my goodness. But Cindy, I mean, doesn't it stand to reason that if you're gonna rope, tie, and castrate a cow, doesn't it kind of make sense that you want to do it quickly? Like, you want to do it before they know what the flying fork is going on, right? I mean, he's like, you got to do it in and out real quick. It's not something you want to take your time on, right? Because once they figure out what you're doing, they might get a little bit anxious and angry. And then once those hooves start flying, it's cowabunga time. That's right. It is cowabunga time. Oh, hey. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Oh, I wonder if I can do this. Okay. So, I'm going to show you. I just got a message. Hot off the presses. I don't know if we can show you this or not, but I'm going to try. And if I can't show you this successfully here, I will show it to you on our next stream. But it looks like... Can we do it this way? No. It looks like Nicola T is really on the Big Island, and she really, really is visiting with K-Man. And let's see if we can get that on the screen to focus. No, we cannot. All right. So that was a really poor sharing of a picture. But Nicola T has proof that she is doing what she said she's doing, and I'm going to share this picture on our next stream, which will be Wednesday at 5 p.m. West Coast time. And Andre, thank you so much for the bits. C. Honda, thank you so much for the bits. And yes, Nicola T is in Hawaiian cattle country, and maybe we should see if she can go tip red. I don't think that Camuela Man would like that. And let's see here, Thomas the Turtle. I used to go to Albert Silva's cattle roundup on Mother's Day each year down Waianae side at his ranch called Ohikilolo. Ohikilolo? Sure. With my Uncle Henry and his friend Brownie to cook the hind quarter with the kiave wood on a spit. Good times. That does sound like good times. Yum-ee. I wish that you were still there so we could do this again on Mother's Day in 6 months or whenever Mother's Day comes up, because that sounds tasty. That sounds delish. So, all right, Katie Zora, it is time for us to start wrapping stuff up here. So yeah, you need to go night-night, and that is fine and dandy. I hope you have a restful slumber. And let's see here. Like I said, we're going to be getting together again this Wednesday, 5 p.m. West Coast time. And as I mentioned last night at StatterBox at the cinema, next week for our movie is going to be the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So be sure to get your rice and your toast and your water guns and your umbrellas and your dancing shoes all ready. And if you've never watched Rocky Horror Picture Show, you probably don't understand why I said you need to get your rice and your toast and your squirt guns and your umbrellas and your dancing shoes ready. But that's okay. You'll figure it out once you see the show. There's a reason for it, as it were. It is an interactive movie. And I guess, yes, Shock, you could download a script as well, so you can get an idea of when you're supposed to give a toast, etc., etc. And yeah, that will be our StatterBox at the cinema. I'm sorry for that little disruption there. My cat, I don't know what my cat is doing, but she's knocking everything over. So, yeah. Yes, it'll be like a Mystery Science Theater situation. And oh, thank you so much, Terry. I am so glad that you re-upped your subscription for another, well, for 12 months you've done this. Thank you so much. And it looks like, woo, we've got a hype train. When did that? How did that? What? Apparently we have a hype train going on. So thank you so much for the bits there, Andre, again. And yeah, there we go. We will definitely have a Mystery Science Theater enactment of Rocky Horror Picture Show. However, it won't be a midnight showing because, as you guys know, it is 6 p.m. West Coast time that the show happens. Of course, if you are in an area where it is midnight, well, then you'll have your own midnight showing and live voice in the Discord. I guess we could do that. Well, more appropriate, I guess you could do that. You could probably teach me how to do that. We'll see if we'll do that. But we've got it on the agenda. Yeah, it would be chaos. It would be chaos. And let's see here. And Thomas the Turtle. In 1908, 3 Hawaiians arrived in Cheyenne, Wyoming to compete in the biggest rodeo in the world, Frontier Days. And yeah, I actually, Lono has a song all about this in the World Champion Finals. Ikua Purdy won the steer roping contest in 56 seconds. Archie Ka'awa came in second, and Jack Lowe, despite suffering an asthma attack during the competition, placed sixth. Hawaii's Paniolos had defeated the best American cowboys and had put Hawaiian Paniolo on the world stage. Yes, exactly. That is exactly what the story is, I believe, behind the Lono tune Kila Kila Rough Riders, I think is what that song is called. And had I been thinking, I would have used a cowboy song for our Lono break this afternoon. But alas, I wasn't thinking, and instead we got what we got because, well, that's what she does. Yeah, Kila Kila Na Rough Riders. There we go. Okay, I was close. I missed the na. But yeah, and it's a great song. And so if you want to learn a little bit more about what Thomas the Turtle was talking about, go check out Lono Music's YouTube channel, Kaupe'epe'e. And the Kila Kila Na Rough Riders song has a little bit of a write-up about that. And let's see here. Thomas the Turtle, given the source, the song tells the exploits of 3 Paniola from Hawaii. And it looks like, actually, I guess, there we have it. He's cutting and pasting, I think, straight from the Lono website himself. Well, not website, but YouTube page. So, fan-flippin-tastic, you guys. It is time to wrap things up. I want to thank you guys for participating in all of the cow tipping talk and regaling everyone with the stories, both true and false, in regards to whether or not cow tipping actually exists. I think this is a conversation that might be a fun one if you guys ever are stuck at a bar and you don't really know how to start up a conversation with folks. I dare say, ask the question, does cow tipping really exist? And you might end up with a conversation that just, the chatter scatters, as it were. And so, like I said, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for putting up with all the tip talk, as it were. Now I have to name the strip Tip Talk. There we go. It looks like we will, let's see here. We will be joining each other again, hopefully on Wednesday, 5 p.m. West Coast time. And like I said, Saturday, 6 p.m. West Coast time, it is Rocky Horror Picture Show. So thank you so much for hanging out, and we will see each other again soon, I hope. Take care.